This video is a review for the Unit 3 quiz. So in number 1, we want to list all the sides that are parallel to JE. So remember, to be parallel, that means they need to be lines that are running in the same direction so that they never intersect. So the lines that would be parallel here would be UL and MB. They're both running from front to back. These three are all parallel. Next, we want to list all the sides that are perpendicular to JU. So to be perpendicular to JU, that means they need to intersect at right angles. So we have UM, UL, and JE are all going to intersect at right angles. So we have that line, and this line. They all intersect at a right angle. The last type of line then are two lines that are skew to LB. So skew means that they're not parallel or perpendicular. They have to be in a 3D space so that they run in a different direction so that they're never going to intersect with LB. So one of those lines is JM, and the other line is JE. In number 2, we want to identify the angle relationships for each pair of angles. So number 2, we have 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 are inside the lines, and they're on the same side of their transversal. So these are going to be same side interior angles. Next, we have 13 and 12. So 13 and 12 are outside of their lines, and they're on alternate sides of the transversal. So these are going to be alternate exterior angles. 2 and 10. So 2 and 10, one is between the lines, one is outside the lines. So that eliminates a lot of our choices because we don't have interior or exterior, but they are in the same position in their groups of 4. So these are going to be corresponding angles. Next, we have 9 and 14. So 9 and 14 are in the same group. There is no transversal, so we can't use those 5 ones we learned about this unit, but they are diagonal from each other, which means that these are vertical angles. Next, we have 4 and 16. So 4 and 16 are on the exterior of the two lines, and they're on the same side of the transversal. So these are going to be same side exterior angles. Then we have 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 don't have a transversal. They're on the same group. They're next to each other, which means that they're adjacent angles. They're forming a straight line. So these are going to be a linear pair. Then we have angle 2 and angle 12. Now, angle 2 and 12, 2 is formed by these two lines, and 12 is formed by these two lines. So they don't have a line in common, which means there's no transversal, and they're not in the same group of 4, so they have no relationship in this case. In our last angles, 10 and 15, they are between the lines. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, so these are going to be alternate interior angles. Number 10, given that J is parallel to K, solve for X and find the measure of angle 1. So these lines are now parallel. If we look at the 8x minus 2 and the 2x plus 64, these are going to be alternate exterior angles, and their relationship is congruent. So we're going to set them equal to each other. 2x plus 64 is equal to 8x minus 2. We can subtract 2x from both sides, so 64 equals 6x minus 2. We can add 2 to both sides, 66 equals 6x. When we divide by 6, x is 11. Once we know x is 11, we want to find angle 1. So angle 1 and 2x plus 64 form a straight line, so we can substitute in. 2 times 11 plus 64 gets us 86 degrees. And then we can subtract from 180 to get that angle 1 is going to be 94 degrees. In number 11, these angles are on the same side of their transversal, and they're between the lines, so they are same side interior angles. which means that they are supplementary. So that means that together they equal 180. So we have 4x plus 3 plus 6x plus 17 is equal to 180. So we get 10x plus 20 is equal to 180. We can subtract 20 on both sides. 10x is equal to 160. So when we divide, x is 16. Once we know x is 16, we can substitute. So 4 times 16 plus 3 is 67 degrees. These form a straight line again, so we can subtract the 67 from 180, and we get angle 1 is 113 degrees. In number 12, find the value that makes A parallel to B. So in order for them to be parallel, we need to look at what type of angles we have. So here we have corresponding angles. They're in the same position in their group of 4. And in order for the lines to be parallel, our corresponding angles have to be congruent. So we have 4x plus 10 is equal to 6x minus 8. So we get 18 is equal to 2x. When we divide, x is 9. In number 13, find two values of x that make C parallel to D. So in this case, these are going to be same side exterior angles because they're outside the line and they're on the same side of the transversal, which means that they need to be supplementary. So we have 8x minus 15 plus 5x is equal to 180. So we get 13x minus 15 is equal to 180. We can add 15 to both sides. So we get 13x equals 195. And when we divide by 13, we get x is 15. In 14 and 15, these are crook problems. So in 14, for the crook problem, we're going to draw a parallel line through our crook, and we want to use alternate interior and same side interior angles. So 57 and this orange dot are alternate interior angles, so they're congruent. So the top part of the angle is going to be 57. Then 121 and the teal dot are same side interior angles. So we want to do 180 minus 121. And we get that the angle is 59 degrees. So to get x, we're going to add those two numbers together, 57 plus 59. And we get this is equal to 116 degrees. Now, in number 15, there are two crooks, so we want to draw parallel lines through both crooks. Working from the top, 102 and the side with the x where the orange dot is, those are same side interior angles. So we have 180 minus 112, and we get 68 degrees. Then we want to work from the bottom until we get to the x. So 44 and this teal dot are same or alternate interior, so they are congruent. So that's 44 degrees. If the whole angle is 78, we can do 78 minus 44. That gets us 34 degrees, which again is alternate interior, where x is 34 degrees. So now our two angles we can add together are 68 and 34. And we get 102 degrees. Number 16, solve for x and y. So these two lines that are running from left to right are parallel because they have the arrows, which means these other two lines are going to be transversal. So we need to treat them separately. The blue line, if I look at those two angles with the y, they are alternate interior angles, so they are congruent. So we have 8y minus 4 is equal to 13y minus 49. We can subtract 8y from both sides, so 5y minus 49. Add 49 to both sides, so 45 is equal to 5y. When we divide, y is 9. Then when we look at the green transversal, those angles are same side interior angles, so they are supplementary. So 3x plus 12 plus 6x plus 15 is equal to 180. When we combine like terms, 9x plus 27 is equal to 180. We can subtract 27 from both sides. So 9x equals 153. When we divide by 9, x is 17. In number 17, we also want to solve for x and y if these lines are parallel. So we know that this line is our transversal. So I want to see, is there a relationship with the x's first? So if I look at the two x angles, those are alternate exterior angles, which means that they are congruent. So we have 9x plus 43 is equal to 19x minus 27. We can subtract 9x from both sides, so 43 is equal to 10x minus 27. We can add 27 to both sides. 70 is equal to 10x. When we divide, x is 7. Then when we look at the two angles with the y, they are between the lines and on the same side of the transversal. So they are supplementary. So we have 5y plus 19 plus 12y minus 26 is equal to 180. When we combine like terms, we get 17y minus 7 equals 180. We can add 7 to both sides, so 17y is equal to 187. When we divide, we get y is 11.